What's up, ecosystem? Welcome back to ATI Auto Business. My name is Jay. You know, my goal every Tuesday night is to bring you another trade show level business presentation to you wherever you are, because your automotive business deserves the latest in transportation and logistics news. And if you're busy, and I know you are, in a minute I'm going to give the welcome show lineup. If you're watching on demand, you'll know what to expect. You can use the clickable video time code links in the video description below. Please do use those. Feel free to skip ahead, like, share, comment, tell your friends. Thanks for watching ATI. We sure do appreciate it. Are customer accounts safe and secure? Cybersecurity logistics and automotive business is a very serious issue for dealers, brokers, carriers, and shippers, as well as small and mid-sized businesses dealing with cyber attacks and data corruption through phishing and malware. So you'll want to learn more about prevention methods tonight with One Step Secure IT. So tonight we have Ron Goren, Cybersecurity Managed Services Leader for SMBs, Tim Derrickson, Director of IT and Security Services, Denise Kozlowski, COO of the LA Business Journal, and Scott Kreisberg, CEO and founder of One Step Secure IT and author of Cyberstorm. Plus, Thompson is in the building, so please do join the live chat. Ask your questions, share your thoughts, grow your business, break out of your vertical, because it's Tuesday nights live on ATI Auto Business. My name is Jay. I'm your host. Welcome back to the show. What's up, ecosystem? Welcome back to ATI. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here in the community group on Tuesday nights live. We're going to have you jump in the live chat, say hello. Let's do this. Welcome schedule. Please do feel welcome. And let us know, what you're looking for. Have you had a hack situation lately? So you got a question? This is the show. We do have security experts with us tonight. So we want you to say hello in the live chat and ask questions and learn how. You're actually, by the end of the show, you're going to know of a company. This is for small and mid-sized businesses. That's right. Small and mid-sized businesses. We're not talking about giant banks and financial institutions. Businesses just like yours and mine that can benefit from expert advice and ideas. We will go into industry news at the quarter hour. I've got some interesting things, also talking about what's been going on here on ATI. We're going to bring in Ty, and Ty is going to help. Actually, Ty met Ron at Digital Dealer. That's how this all got started, and in fact, he's going to help me introduce Ron, cybersecurity leader in managed services for small and mid-sized businesses. Ron's going to give us an overview of One Step Secure IT and what they do. And then Tim Derrickson is going to go into a presentation. You're going to get some tips, tricks, and ideas of how to view IT security, which is going to be great. He's going to take center stage, take the microphone. And then the panel, we have Denise Kozlowski. She's the COO of LA Business Journal. She's with us tonight, and to help shine a light on the importance of this kind of coverage. And then, if that's not enough, we have the CEO and founder of One Step Security IT Services and the author of Cyberstorm. And if you stick around, we're going to show you how you can download your own digital copy of Cyberstorm. I just did it right before the show. So I just got a free 181-page PDF, and that's pretty cool. It's freebie. Actually, you're going to learn a lot tonight. So we're really excited. Please do help us. Click share, click like, click copy, grab that YouTube link. I realize, we did a risk management show, and I'm going to share the link to that too. I know that this is challenging. This is a challenging topic, right? Risk with Tom Klein. And what happens is you think, well, I'm good, or I'm not good, and I don't really want to, stare into the abyss. But you're going to get ideas of an area that you maybe just don't want to think about, and you didn't realize what a big deal it could be. So that's tonight. If you're lost in car shipping, maybe you're a dealer and you do not have that car shipping button. You're a carrier and what if you missed the SuperPay webinar today? Call or text Ty 417-483-2764, and we'll get you hooked up with that information. Do me a favor, jump in the live chat. We're going to go into the live chat right after this, so stick around.
Recon 2023. Time to line. Speed to sale. Managed by metrics. Know what you don't know. Technician efficiency. Workflow efficiency. More cars, less time. Know where your cars are. Connect to what you expect. Rapid Recon can help.
Being a carrier is tough. Slow pay, bad lanes, and countless brokers. It's hard out here, but it doesn't have to be.
At Ship Your Car Now, we understand the challenges our carriers face. That's why we're committed to on-time payment, guaranteed lanes, and an open line of communication with our dispatch team.
Our carriers and drivers are our partners, and we're committed to helping them succeed. Sign up on our carrier portal today. Ship Your Car Now, committed to carriers.
Are you a blue chip carrier? Ship Your Car Now offers trusted car haulers, good paying loads that pay fast. Sign up, deliver, and build your running lane at shipyourcarnow.com carrier portal. So do that. Okay, let's go into it. Let me see if I got this all ready here. We're going to go into the live chat. Please do say hello, jump in there. Look at that. Ty is already making martinis in the super set. Thanks so much, Ty. ATI to the moon. Yes, it is true. It is verifiable. If you've been following what's going on here, wow, a lot of things have been really moving, and so very exciting. Thank you so much, Ty, for pointing that out. Let's take this to the top. Ty got in here first. This is where ATI and security intersect on this evening, on this Tuesday night. Carlos Braxton is here. What's up? ACB Logistics is in the house. Mark Grodicke, Superflow Systems. Mark Grodicke is back in the house, and that is, I think that's gonna do it for the live chat tonight. Now again, I addressed it. One of my jobs is to address the elephant in the room. I realize, cybersecurity. Here's what's interesting, and this is in industry news, is that when you have a cybersecurity problem, it's such a problem, you'd be lucky to even be able to open up a link to a show about cybersecurity problems. So these are the things that you want to look at. I know that insurance companies care about this, business offices care about this, and then there's government entities that care about this. Even just really one more solid reminder of what are you clicking on, by the way, because are you more at risk of a cyber attack or of just clicking on the wrong dumb link? Think about that. That's harsh. I know, it's hard stuff. JT, what's up? JT, thanks for saying hello, tuning in. I'll tell you, I really don't need to spend too much time in the live chat, meaning like I think I've got plenty of news, and in combination with a look ahead of the week and a look ahead of tonight, we're not going to be short on time at all. So I'm going to jump into industry news. We're going to keep the super chat open all night. Okay. So please do feel like chatting and asking questions. We've got One Step Secure IT waiting in the wings. This is going to be a great show. So do me a favor, stick around, because after this we're going to go into industry news.
Join independent automotive dealers from across the country to accelerate your learning, planning, growth, and dealership success at NIADA Accelerate 2023 Convention and Expo. Take advantage of networking opportunities and valuable education from successful dealers and industry leaders. Get inspired by our keynote speakers and have some fun. Visit with solutions providers in the Expo Hall that can help you navigate the products and services available to help you reach your dealership goals. Whether you're new to the independent auto world or an industry veteran, invest in yourself and your dealership knowing NIADA is there to support you in your journey. Register and book your rooms at the Win Now, and we'll see you June 19th through the 22nd at NIADA Accelerate 2023 Convention and Expo.
Transport Auto Quoter is by far the leading auto quoting software on the market, and the only auto quoter with a pro version that comes preset with accurate pricing for anywhere in the U.S. So you don't have to worry about it. The best part is that no change with your current software is needed. Just plug TAQ in and start booking jobs. Carriers can easily plug TAQ into their current websites and start making money right away. I bet you're wondering how we do this instantly and accurately 24/7. Well, constant analytics is the key. Our PriceWatch team is constantly monitoring current market conditions, paying close attention to seasonal and quick-moving industry changes. At the end of the day, it takes a lot of time and data to maintain good pricing, time that most of us just don't have on a daily basis. So free yourself up. Using TAQ Pro is really a no-brainer. Save time and money, maximizing your leads and optimizing your online investments. You'll finally be able to sleep well at night knowing that TAQ is on the job selling for you 24/7. Never missing a potential job.
Searching for that midnight auto shipping quote and new lead software you can trust? Provide instant, accurate quotes online with Transport Auto Quoter and get the price right the first time. Visit transportautoquoter.com. All right, here we go. Let's do this. Let's go into some industry news. We're still right on time. Fantastic. Thank you so much. It is show 297 in a row on a Tuesday on ATI. Tuesday nights live, and we sure do appreciate you being here. We know that cybersecurity logistics is a really important topic. So here, let me tell you how we got here. We're here with One Step Secure IT Services. Really lucky to have them with us here tonight. It started at, and by the way, see there it is. Ty was talking about great conference to meet dealers. You never know who you're going to meet. Tonight's show started at Digital Dealer. Ty was live on a Tuesday, walking around the expo floor, and who did he meet? Ron Goren of One Step IT Security Services. By the way, thank you so much. Chris Chamberlain, making martinis in the super chat. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. And so, walking around the expo floor, and then sat down, gave Ron the mic. I started asking him questions. You can check it out. Digital Dealer Conference and Expo, Tampa 2023. And then from there, we had a conversation. Well, we've got a security expert that is going to give a presentation night. And really, this is another point we've seen. And this will be covered at NIADA about dealerships and their cyber environment. So Tim Derrickson is with us tonight to give this presentation. You're going to definitely want to catch that. We're also really lucky and honored to have the Los Angeles Business Journal with us tonight. in the panel discussion. Lots of great articles and topics being covered in the LA Business Journal. So we're going to have Denise Kozlowski with us tonight, talk more about important topics such as that. And then if that's not enough, we have Scott Kreisberg, author of Cyberstorm. He's also the CEO and founder of One Step Secure IT. He's with us tonight. And I just will point this out, you know, this is kind of stuff you kind of skim it. FTC, safeguards, yeah. Well, you know, that's really becoming a bigger and bigger deal, these types of topics, especially when you're dealing with customers and PII, which is private information. Here's the FTC link. I just put it in the live chat. So you can check that out, click away, do some homework live. We encourage that, you know, put us in the background and get the information. In fact, this, okay, so the FTC compliance update is in, what, 3 days? It goes in, June 9th? What does that mean? Ty, what does it mean? Well, actually, at NIADA, they are going to be covering some of the updates of the FTC safeguards. Check this out. On 2:15 on Wednesday the 21st and at 10 a.m. Thursday the 22nd, there will be information from the FTC. Wow, that's part of the 4-day package? Heck yeah, it is. You want to get to NIADA. In fact, Ty, I was going to say this. I saw in the live chat. Yeah, right. Great conference to meet. Hey, just want to say the show topics. Thank you. That's awesome, Chris. Liking the show topics. Well, at NIADA, did you see Lori Foster put in LinkedIn today? She was asking, well, this isn't a conference I normally go to. Should I consider going to it? I think the conference is getting attention in new ways, and that's why we are happy to be part of the NIADA Accelerate 2023 promotion, and we're going to be there all week. So this starts in like a week and a half, June 19th, and lots of the Sugar Ray Leonard's giving a keynote, etc. It's going to be a great conference. I notice even NADA is talking about the compliance deadline. This June 9th FTC safeguards rule, individual information security, written risk assessment, somebody in charge of the program, you have to train personnel, you have to have an incident response plan, periodically assess security practices. It's a full-time job. What are you going to do? Who are you going to call? Mark Grodicke. What's going on, Mark Grodicke? Making super chats in the live chat. What's going on? TAQ plus Pro ABD equals business. Nice one. Thanks, Mark. Really appreciate that. So I know this stuff is, and at least now you're more of aware of it, because we are in front of the store, back of the store, ATI. We want to talk about everything. We go down in the basement, up in the attic, and we shine a light on those things maybe you just weren't thinking about, because it's a full ecosystem, new and used, and OEMs and dealers and auctions, etc. We like to talk about all of it. We're going to chase the disconnects between sales and operations and ask the tough questions and point out the elephants. Dude, where is your car? I don't know. By the way, did you realize what the carrier goes through? Hunting down cars, hunting down people, hunting down payment? Maybe that's where your car is. Maybe the guy's stuck at the bank trying to cash a check that's all wrinkled up because he... Anyways. All right. All right, NIADA 2023, be there. Let us know if you have any questions. We want to make sure you go. Lots of dealers going to be there. This is an amazing opportunity to connect with dealers and dealer information. I've been talking about accounts getting hacked, which circles back into tonight's show. And I said it before, Risk with Tom Klein. This show is an eye-opener. Because, you pay all that money for insurance, right? Well, what are they thinking about? Why is that insurance so high? Well, not enough people were paying attention to the things that causes insurance to go up. So check out some of the elements, know why, know what, protect your business. And we've been getting we get it in the comments, we get it on the emails, people sending in information about stuff happening and passwords getting stolen and malware and how to avoid becoming a victim. That's one of the things we're going to be talking about tonight, how to avoid becoming a victim of IT security breach. And let's see here. Oh, it's someone else. Yeah, I mean, man, these are all related to security. So you can't tell me this is a totally boring topic when we keep getting contacted about security issues. I don't know how it's going to get resolved, and then this gets into the load board, and I mean, scammers set up a fake car auction, and on it goes. Dealerships dealing with theft. I do want to say that, in fact, when it comes to the scams, now we're seeing is businesses being called out on social media about questions about scams. So if you don't take care of something, it may find you, and it may find you live on ATI. So send in your comments. I'm just reporting the news. Autotransportintel@gmail.com. Let me know how I can help. Ken Collins is in the live chat. What's up, Ken? Thanks for saying hello. Tuning in. By the way, if you see an extra like laying around, please smash the like button. We sure do appreciate that. That means a lot to us. And we know this is how you get your car shipping business news. So every Tuesday night, you know what we do. It is now time for, we got 5 new questions. That's right. Are you a car shipping guru? Let's play Ask Larry. 5 new questions every Tuesday night. Question 1, here we go. Oh, is that the wrong one again? Here we go. True or false? Auto dealers are not attractive targets for cyber criminals because they're not banks. True or false? Auto dealers not attractive targets for cyber criminals. You can choose A for true or B for false, or you can type true. You can type false. It's really up to you. No crowding. Not everybody all at once. You're gonna crash the server. Carlos has false. Ken has false. Josh has false. It's false. And I asked the question on LinkedIn, what percentage of auto dealers experienced cyber attacks last year? Answer, close to 84%. Whoa. Whoa, that's crazy. What? Wow. All right. Well, sure. Go ahead and skip the topic. No problem for me. Question 2. What is your first line of defense against cyber attacks? Is it antivirus, firewall, your employees, or store your data on the web? Now, we got a real stumper here. I know this is a stumper. Antivirus, first line of defense against cyber attacks. Is it antivirus, a firewall, your employees, or storing data on the web? What do you guys think? In the live chat. Now, it's a safe community. You can say it. Give it a shot. Carlos has firewall. Brova Chaz Lemon, what is going on? Thanks for saying hello. Ty has firewall. Okay, so that's 2 for firewall. And Ken is going to go with employees. So we got firewall, employees. I need one more guess to keep moving forward, or I am stuck. I'm frozen. Can't move. Is it antivirus, firewall, employees, or data on the web? Okay, Jay. The answer is... it's employees. Wow, that's your first line of defense. Here's what's interesting on this topic, and I thought antivirus was a good one too. Is that what's really crazy is, I don't know what the percentage is, but we're probably going to find out from Ron and Tim. But it's people. People are the biggest problem. Shocker, I know, shocker. But people are your first line of defense, because this is where phishing is all people. All right, here we go. Let's just keep trying, Question 3. What is the best practice for handling suspicious email attachments? Open and verify, forward to a friend, delete without opening, or save for computer analysis? Open and verify. Best practice for handling suspicious email attachments. Open and verify, forward to a friend, delete without opening, or save for analysis. You still have an opportunity. This one might be worth double. I got this wrong, by the way. Carlos has delete without opening. Chris has delete without opening. Candy, Josh. Okay. That's what I said. I'm told that the answer is save for computer analysis. Now, I think that's wild, and we're going to learn more about this. So this is an interesting one. It stumped me. I think we stumped most of the live chat, and we're going to find out, something new. So definitely stick around for tonight's show with One Step Secure IT. We got a couple more of these. Question 4, here we go. What is the purpose of a firewall in the context of network security? To encrypt traffic, to block access, scan and remove malware, authenticate users. Yikes. Another hard one. All right, so the question lines are open. By the way, thanks for all the likes. I really, really do appreciate it. And we really appreciate One Step Secure IT taking the time out of their busy schedule to join us. The purpose of a firewall in network security is encrypt traffic, block access, scan and remove malware, authenticate users. What do you think, Vlad? Ken has block access. Chris has block access. Ty is unsure. But we're glad you're here, Ty. I know. Well, me too. This is a tough one. Wow. Carlos has block access. I tell you, you guys got that one. Firewalls help block unauthorized access. All right, cool. And we got one more. Here we go. In the event of a cyber breach, you should call the FBI, negotiate with the criminals, try to retrieve data from the backup, or follow an incident response plan. Call the FBI. In the event of a cyber breach, call the FBI, negotiate with the criminals, retrieve data from the backup, or follow the incident response plan. What do you think the answer is? Let's see. Does Ty think it's the FBI? No. Ty thinks it's incident response plan. Does Carlos think it's the FBI? No. Does Ken think it's negotiate with the criminals? No. Everybody says follow the incident response plan. And in fact, this is required by regulators, FTC, and cyber liability insurance. So, and Vlad has called the KGB. Now that is a great idea. Is that also negotiate? Okay. Thanks for playing, everybody. That was very, very fun. Really enjoyable and thought-provoking. Don't forget, speaking of, you want to win that lucky load. You can win the lucky load. Did you know there has been a lucky load winner? There was a lucky load winner in May, so do me a favor, stick around, because right after this, you're going to see more about Lucky Load Winner, Super Dispatch. Then we're going to go into Industry News Part 2, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey, back.
Oh, hey. How's it going?
Good. What are you up to?
You know that Lucky Load that we launched?
Yeah.
Where somebody gets a lucky load every month on the Super Load board? So we have a winner. We ran a promo on the Super Load board called Lucky Load. It was Stan's idea.
That was my idea. I'm Stan.
Empire Auto won a $600 prize hauling from NJ Automotive, but we don't know how to get a hold of him, so could you look him up for us? 2104. Should we tell MJ Automotive too?
We can. MJ Automotive, they were the shipper?
Yeah, in your idea, in your original vision,
Yeah.
does the shipper also find out?
In the original vision, it was designed to reward carriers for leveraging the load board.
Okay, we found it. Here we go.
Hey Jerry, this is you have a whole team here from Super Dispatch. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
We're doing great. Are you familiar with the new promotion that we launched called the Lucky Load?
I am.
Congratulations, you guys are the very first winners of the Lucky Load.
Very nice.
Yeah, man. Congratulations.
Congratulations, man.
Congratulations.
You're a great dispatcher.
The next evolution of moving cars faster, smarter, and easier is here. SuperPay by Super Dispatch. Today, shippers waste hours managing fragmented payment systems. And carriers are left wondering, never knowing when they'll finally get the payment they're owed. SuperPay saves everyone time and hassle by securely automating payment upon proof of delivery. No more tracking down payments or onboarding carriers to disconnected payment systems. With integrated payments with SuperPay, Super Dispatch is now the only end-to-end, all-in-one auto transport platform. Automate payments where you automate transport.
Super Dispatch, TMS, mobile app, Super Loadboard, and SuperPay, helping carriers, dispatchers, brokers, and shippers move cars and get paid fast on one auto transport platform. Visit superdispatch.com. All right, here we go. Let's go into industry news, part 2. The industry pulse here on ATI. Attention business developers. Now, we don't have as much news, but this, I don't really get into, crashes and stealing, but I thought, well, one, it's kind of relevant tonight. 21, that's a lot of cars. 21 cars stolen from United Auto Exchange in Memphis. 21 cars stolen from United Auto Exchange, where cars are up for auction in Oak Haven. I think this is near Memphis, I believe the story said. Police say on May 28th, surveillance video shows a person driving into the lot and another person using a forklift to move an auction van in front of the gate. You think somebody knew what they were doing? A third vehicle, which was an auction pickup truck, then rammed the fence and took it down. My gosh. Sounds like Die Hard. According to police, the thieves just kept coming back, driving one car after another out of the lot. Theft these days. It's unbelievable, really. Nobody does anything, and if you do, you get fired. The manager told police he won't know the value of the car stolen until he goes over his inventory. Wow. And here's one for you. May bankruptcy filings soared 23% higher year over year. But we don't see the repos right away. You have a redemption period. So we'll see where this goes next. Tesla started shipping cars with a less charge. Interesting. They started shipping EVs with a maximum of 50% state of charge and giving supercharging credit to compensate customers. Due to a new industry policy, your vehicle must be shipped with a max 50% charge, meaning your Model 3 charge status may be lower than our usual standards at your delivery appointment. Which is great news for the delivery driver. We're giving you your 150 kilometers, I guess this is a British article, of free supercharging for the inconvenience, which is what, 120 plus miles. You'll be able to redeem your supercharging credit a few days after delivery in the loot box in your Tesla app. While Tesla doesn't specify which, they got to compensate for the... Anyways. While Tesla doesn't specify which new industry policy it's referring to, some shipping companies require EVs to have less battery charge in order to reduce the risk of fires. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I guess you don't ship it with a full tank of gas, but do they reimburse you for the half a tank missing? I don't know. Tesla Model Y, by the way, world's best-selling car in Q1. Did you know that? So I saw this, like I said, I was light on news, and I actually really like to learn more about nationwide logistics. So I saw this article from RPM, I thought I'd share it. Top 11 largest ports in the U.S., a cargo hub's guide. Now, before we get into, does anybody want to guess in the live chat? Anybody have any guesses what ports might be in the top 11 or top 5? If you want to get really specific, you know, like when you're betting on horses, you can get really specific. Hit the trifecta. What's number 1? What's number 2? What's number 3 as far as top 11 largest ports in the U.S.? Anybody want to guess? I can't guess because I already went through the article. All right, here we go. So, number 1, Los Angeles. Which is interesting because I was thinking Long Beach. But the Los Angeles, 7,500 acres of land, 13.5% of total market share for shipping in North America. 19th busiest port in the world. Los Angeles port. Isn't that interesting? Newark, also called Port of New Jersey. 3rd largest in the entire country. Top port on the East Coast. 11% of cargo in North America. Right? See, there's Cole. Long Beach, exactly. Long Beach was my top guess. I think it's number 3. Yep. 12% of North American market share. And apparently, what is the difference between Port of Long Beach and Port of Los Angeles? I'm not sure if there's much. But I guess, because it says combined with the Port of Los Angeles. Oh, I guess the two together. 1/4 of all container trade through North America. Wow. Gateway port with Asia, Long Beach. Savannah is number 4. Houston is number 5. Seattle. Technically, Port of Seattle and Port of Tacoma are one port, but you have Seattle and Tacoma up at 6 and 7. Norfolk, Virginia, 11% of Eastern Coast cargo throughput. 1/3 of the cargo at the Port of Virginia arrives and leaves by rail. Now, that's a really interesting. So Norfolk, and I guess Norfolk Southern, which is the rail company, I believe, or a subsect of some giant conglomeration, don't know anymore. Lots of rail coming out of Norfolk. That's interesting. So lots of OEM, be my guess, overseas OEM. Charleston, Oakland, Miami is number 11. So that's kind of interesting. Who knew? All right, well, this is hitting the, I don't know what to say about this stuff. So I'm just going to read it. Zeb Frank is splashing headlines. Another broker almost scammed a carrier who they got a load from originally. Then he names the company. It's insane. And then he goes on. He's looking for help to find a post. One of their loads. Okay, I'm looking for someone with blank to see this post. One of their loads is being double brokered by these scumbags, he says, allegedly. Want to get a hold of the original carrier to let them know. Which, by the way, I think in the thread, that company, the first named company, was in the thread. I don't think the second alleged company was in there. And I'm pointing this out because we're going to start talking about this more on Thursday. You know, the concern of what's going on that load board with that rating system is skyrocketing. This came in today. I already had Thursday's show planned. And there are people, they've gotten across the moat and they're starting to crawl up the walls of the castle, guys. Do you think we can talk about it? I mean, here's another email. I've been with them since 2015 and had much success, but this new rating system, as you understand, has taken a sledgehammer to all of us, particularly swinging the pendulum heavily in favor of carrier misbehavior, which is not something you want to ratchet up. I don't know. So anyways, do join us Thursday for transactional rating balls. I mean, what do you call it? I don't know. We had Carrier Hour for brokers this past week. That was great. We also, on this Friday, we have another AI damage detection. We're going to learn more, because this is another one you're going to see And we may as well talk about it now because it's here and it's well, the goal is to help. We had last Tuesday SYCN Auto Logistics Carrier Relationships. And, because, hey, where do loads come from? Right? Do they fall from the sky? No. And you might need a broker partner and you didn't know it that can help you. And that broker partner, Ship Your Car Now, SYCN Auto Logistics, is looking for you, blue chip carrier. Are you a blue chip carrier? Partner up with SYCN Auto Logistics. Don't forget, get signed up for the Lucky Load. Find out how you could be the next winner just for booking a load. But you got to find out what it takes to book that load. It's on Super Dispatch. Become a verified carrier. Use Super Load Board. You're booking loads anyways. Hey man, this is great. This is an opportunity. If you see this, you're dealing with the podcast, get the podcast. Enjoy and relax on the weekend with an ATI podcast. It's ATI Auto Business. That's what you're looking for. And if you are, like we say, lost in car shipping, or you just need a shoulder to cry on, whatever the problem is, call or text Ty 417-483-2764. Keep it to automotive though. All right, stick with automotive topics. And he wants to hear from you. Remember, we don't ship cars. We move information. We're ATI. Leverage us. Or not. That's fine. You can do what you want. This is the Car Shipping Business Channel. My name is Jay. I'm your host. And so here's what we're going to do. After this, I'm going to bring in Ty. First, I'm going to bring in Ty. Ty is going to help me then introduce Ron. We're going to have a presentation with Tim. We'll bring in Denise. We'll bring in Scott. He's going to talk about his book. It'll be a full panel. It's going to be awesome. So stick around. You're not going to miss it. We'll be right back.
Auto Hauler Exchange is a new B2B marketplace, the first of its kind in the vehicle logistics industry. Auto Hauler Exchange automates the complex workflows of the vehicle logistics ecosystem by connecting large and small vehicle haulers directly with vehicle shippers. By eliminating the middleman typically required in vehicle logistics, AHX streamlines the shipping process, cuts shipping delays, and reduces empty space on carriers and unnecessary miles while increasing revenue. Working directly with the shipper, carriers can pick and choose which opportunities fit their routing on a day-by-day basis to maximize their capacity and eliminate empty miles, while allowing them to plan their backhauls in advance. The exchange gives control back to carriers. By using technology, AHX creates a frictionless, efficient environment for vehicle transportation. Get off the vehicle hauler roller coaster today with Auto Hauler Exchange.
Auto Hauler Exchange B2B marketplace connects shippers directly with carriers, and that means putting the power of the business transaction back in the carrier's hands. Visit autohaulerexchange.com. All right, you got a link in the live chat. Okay, Ty, go ahead and get ready. If you need another invite, let me know. Otherwise, folks, we have got a great second half coming up for you. Yes, we might be a few minutes early, which I think is going to be great because we're going to need it in this panel. There is going to be a lot of information. You're going to want to take notes. Go ahead and do that. I'm always taking notes. I got a brand new, ready to go sheet of paper here, and I'm going to be taking notes as well. So I highly recommend that. Otherwise, here's what's going to happen now in the Zoom meeting room, camera 1. Ty is going to jump in here, and we're going to catch back up to what we were. We're going to take a walk back to Digital Dealer for a second when we met with Ron and learned more about what it was. And we got more than our money's worth then. More than we paid for. Chris says, wow, sounds like Manheim, New Jersey, way back. 3 9-car haulers were parked on a side street. They cut the fence and drove out. Obviously, the guards were involved in auction. Yeah, these auction thefts. But 21 cars? And it sounds like it was one at a time. So do you think anybody can, show up and try to stop them? You got tasers and nightsticks and all this stuff. It seems like the average citizen and accountant gets tased, but guy stealing 21 cars, no problem. I don't know. I'm sure I'm way off base, but I don't get it. It seems weird to me. But All right, here we go. Ty, can you see me and hear me?
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good. What's your take on the 21 cars stolen thing? And it was one at a time, and they had a whole smash and crash. Are they geniuses at finding the right time, or what? Or is this an inside job?
Well, I would first have to do some recon on the actual United Auto
Exchange. I know that's another one. I don't know what that.
That just sounds like a small one.
So they just didn't. And is this a case of skipping the security conversation until 21? I don't know. I know I'm speculating live, but that's a weird story. That's why it's, national news. It's like,
yeah,
how'd you lose 21 cars?
There's a lot to that, in my opinion. I know. Actually, right? You want to know what I really thought?
Yes, that's why I'm Jabberjaw. I want to know what you really think. Tell me.
Well, I was thinking on our Friday show at Cars on the Move when we're hanging out at the transport parking lot, and I'm walking around showing, here's the guard shack, here's the gate pass, here's I'm like, well, if somebody's watching that, they might learn something.
Well, and thank you, because I know at one of the auctions around here, in the early days when I started this channel, I was just getting footage for like an intro video. In fact, there's a shot where I'm driving past a fence, and you can see a lot full of cars, and I got confronted by 2 vans with people. And they're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
But so it's not like it's unknown.
No, but the other side of that too, this is an interesting conversation because when I had all my trucks, the auction was 24/7, literally 365. I think they were open on Christmas. I mean, I've picked up cars at an auction on Christmas. They had their own internal security, right? Their own people that were at the guard shack guarding everything all night long. You could go in, pick up cars at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 2 a.m., whatever the case may be. So it'd really be an interesting conversation, because I think if you've got constant action there.
Look, Candy's got ex-employees. Yeah. There's something fishy here. This is fishy.
Yeah. Inside job, car hauler. I mean, people that are familiar with the location, if you're a regular and then you don't show up for a year and everybody kind of forgets you, you don't ever forget the ins and outs of an auction if you've been a regular. And
now, and Chris is saying there was a CarMax Edison, New Jersey. They didn't get the cars out. I didn't feel like running the video, but they said after this, they found cars all over the place.
Yeah, well, man, I mean, stealing cars from auctions is nothing new. We all know that, right? And then it gets worse when you get to the place. This has happened to me. You get to the place where you're like, okay, the auction's too hard to deal with. I'm going to call the car puller. I'm going to pay the car puller $10 a car. They're going to pull them outside the gate. They're going to hide the keys. You show up and your cars aren't there. That happens.
So this is like Ocean's 15. You've got a meeting with the car pullers, ex-employees. There's a security guard, huh? I mean, are we close?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to consider
15.
there. Ocean's 15, Ocean's 17.
But and that's the thing. What about, how did they get they had a forklift, they had this was an operation. This was not a random, I don't even know why I care. I just, when you start to look at it, you're like, man, this is really weird.
Yeah. Well, here's, back to tonight's show, I was thinking about Ron and meeting Ron at the digital dealer and learning a lot. I mean, the guy, I think you're kind of, in the beginning of the show tonight, you're like, cybersecurity, right? But as you start to listen to Ron, it's really intriguing. And there's really a lot to it that, like, you just, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And for a guy like me, I'm the guy that pulls up to the gas station, leaves the car running, and the keys and the phone and everything in the car with the windows down while I go get a cup of coffee. So I just think, well, people don't steal, right?
Right now there's a forklift driver like, really? What's he drive?
What's he driving again? follow Ty. But if you, as we get to tonight, we get to learn. I mean, I guess there really are people that are bad and have bad intent and ill will, and it's a real thing. And there's a need for this, and that's why, you know, when we go to these conferences, we talk about them all the time. You know, we're plugging NIADA right now, and I do want to plug them again and say, this is a great conference. If you've got the time and the money, you really do need to go. The networking there for the dealer group, which is what I talk about all the time. Dealers, love the dealer. There's going to be a bunch of dealers there. So if you can get there, we would love to have you. Jay and I both will be there. And you get to meet people like Ron, right? And you get to learn about other companies and what they do and how they help the dealer. You know, you can call this a vendor, right? Yes. Service or product for the dealer. And as you start, you know, I'm always like, well, what do people steal? What is there to steal? Because, you know, back, if you think about it, I'm getting older now, but I always had to go in and there was always paper, right? You fill the paper out, you sign it, and they put it in a file somewhere. Well, apparently, I guess now there's not as much paper, and so it's information, my personal information. And, you know, I didn't really, I mean, it's been a while since I bought a car, but you go and you give all of your information. You realize that, right? Where you work, your social security, your date of birth, your phone number, your address.
I was ordering a sandwich on an app, okay? And I like this sandwich place. So I thought, I'm seeing more of the convenience of the app. So I put in some information, paid with my credit card, went and picked up my sandwich. And then I clicked, here's a check. Do I want to save my credit card in the app? I like this place, so I clicked check. So now my credit card's in the app for the sandwich place. I'm relying on them, right? And this is where we start down the road of what was otherwise is now, oh my God, you know, and that's where you're at. And that's why we do pay attention to all these things, because it helps paint the full picture of what you're dealing with in business.
Well, true. And then you mentioned that show we had with Brian Riker and Tom Klein, and we met Tom Klein at a conference, Auto Intel Summit originally. And Tom Klein is the dealer version of Brian Riker. Our Brian Riker is what I call, in my phone, it says Brian Compliance. So Brian is the guy who's always looking out for mitigating risk, right? That's Brian. Then
Which
you've
again,
got
mitigating risk. We should make blankets that say like mitigating risk. You know, security.
Which put your little blankie.
Right.
Here's your blankie, go to sleep.
Because it goes, but you think you're going to go to sleep and you wake up in a cold sweat.
Yeah, and so I think, you know, rather than sit here and speculate as to what we're going to learn again tonight, I'd say we start dragging people in here, because this is really an interesting topic. That it is important, and it does, actually, believe it or not, it gets real close to the guy dropping and picking the cars up too. You'll see.
Well, exactly, because once you're the customer and you're on the receiving end of the maliciousness, stick around. All right, here we go. Camera one. First time on a Tuesday. Well, I guess he has been here before. but it's his first time on center stage. All right, Ron Goren, please help me welcome Ron of One Step Secure IT. And he's going to give us an overview of what we're talking about, what we're looking at. Please do jump in the live chat, say hello. And Ron, can you see us and hear us?
Perfect, guys. Perfect. So happy to be with you guys.
Wow, we're glad to have you here. Let's just hand it right over to you. Please do say hello and tell us a little bit more about you.
Well, thanks so much for the opportunity. I'm so happy we got to meet you guys, Ty and Jay at the digital dealer. It was awesome. And you guys really helping us quite a bit on our mission and passion, you know, to protect auto dealership and now also logistics. We are real on a journey, and this is a great platform for us. So we appreciate that very much, the platform. So I was thinking about what should I be speaking today, because our team is going to do the more drilled down education, and it's definitely worth the wait because we speak to auto dealership every day. And, we have this passion to equip them with the right information. That's what it is. That's the first step into Nirvana. Before you implement their firewall, the AV, first to be equipped with the right info. So I thought of telling you a little bit my journey, how I got into it. I do believe that when you do things the best, you do them with passion. You have the drive. And sometimes it's working subconsciously. I was thinking, how the hell did I get here? So if you didn't know, I grew up in Israel. After serving in the army, I came here to do my undergraduate degree a long time ago. And you know what was my first job? My first job was a security officer for El Al Airline. We were the weirdos questioning people before they board an airplane. This is before 9/11. So everybody, I remember a passenger hopping into an airplane like a train. And we were the weirdos guys trying to, be diligent about terror attack on the plane. And that was my first job. If they're moving forward, I started my technology journey at IBM. I worked for many years protecting enterprise, empowering and protecting the enterprise. We always felt that, this is the engine of the economy, the big companies, the big banks, the big automobile companies, and we also need to protect them. So I worked for a large corporation, and then I worked for many, multiple cybersecurity firms that focus on protecting the enterprise. What I learned was intriguing. First of all, even the big guys, they are overwhelmed. I think I saw a number between 500 to 1,000 cybersecurity vendors. So how the hell Chief Information Security Officer, one of the biggest show for the cybersecurity, it's called RSA, it's in San Francisco. And we used to have a booth there. And you would have thousands of vendors, everybody promising we're going to stop ransomware attack. If you're a CISO walking those booths, you'll literally get a major headache. And I saw many organizations spending and wasting millions of dollars on many different solutions. Some of them are, sitting on the shelf getting dust because they can't get them to work, or they can't get them to work together. So you're talking about 10 years of, 10, 15 years of journey, me protecting the enterprise. And I started to see a little bit shift also in the action, the shift of the action of the criminal. And I thought about funny analogy. When I started protecting El Al Airline, we were the weirdos guy. Almost like the analogy is, banks you just need to protect the big banks because the criminals are after them. But what's happening now with every tiny airline is protecting themselves. This is really a good analogy to what's happening in the market. So we all know the small, medium businesses are the real engine of this economy. An attack on small, medium businesses, it's not a bad quarter. They're going out of business. You showed some interesting statistics. 60% of small, medium businesses who experience cyber attack going out of business within 6 months. So this is life and death for them. And they don't have the resources. They don't have the expertise. They don't have the personnel. And obviously they don't have the budget. So they need a hand. And the recent statistics I've seen, by the way, today I read one of the key, I would say, cyber report that's coming every year. It's a Verizon data breach. It's called DBIR. It just came out this morning. And one of the things I noticed, I read the entire report because there are interesting nuggets in that report. And one of the things, they actually dedicated a whole section for small, medium businesses. And what they said, that they used to compare the activities of the small, medium businesses versus the large corporation. By the way, small, medium businesses, they put the category below 1,000 employees. And they're now calling it conversion. They see a conversion, meaning that the small, medium businesses, your auto dealership, the majority, I know there's Auto Nations and all the big guys, but the majority of them 50 employees, 100 employees, some 20 employees, several hundred employees. They're using similar infrastructure to the big guys, but they don't have the skills, the budget. And when I noticed that 50% of the attack are targeted towards small, medium businesses, 50%, half of all attacks globally, chasing small, medium businesses who do not have the resources. Now, I knew about One Step for 20 years while I was protecting the enterprise through personal relationships. So I knew about this company and I knew about the passion, and it just came together for me. Joining One Step on a mission. One Step for many years were empowering retailer, your fashion retailer, auto dealership. And about 5-7 years ago, realized their customer were crying, saying, I just got hit by a ransomware. What the hell is this? How do I protect myself? Because unfortunately, many do not think about this until it's way too late. So I decided to join on a mission, not to mention that I have some sensitive area for cars. And I remember myself being 7-8 years old. On my bedroom, I had pictures of race cars, and I had humble desires. I grew up in Israel, so Golf GTI was a passion. A Peugeot 205 GTI was a passion. Obviously, Ferrari, Testarossa, and so helping those auto dealership and the logistic and transform, it's really almost personal for me. So we are on a mission to first educate them. After that, if they want our help, we can help them, because it's not just about buying tools. It's about getting the tools that working best for you and optimizing them so you're not overwhelmed with, diarrhea of alerts. So with that, I want to, to move into more specific training and allow Tim to take over.
Wow. An amazing introduction, Ron. That was awesome. And I tell you, just starting at the top with El Al Airlines, I have heard that El Al is one of the most secure. Have you heard? I mean, I know you worked there, but I don't know if it's because there was an early on the airline saw what be to come.
There were attacks or attempt for attack. There wasn't any successful attack. There was an interesting, I don't want to deviate completely, but in London Heathrow, there was a pregnant lady coming with, a bag full with bombs. She actually did not know that it was a bomb. Her boyfriend, basically sent her with the suitcase. So, yes, there's a heritage, some marketing element into this, but there's a lot of heritage. But I think that now majority of airlines are, they catch up, unfortunately, after 9/11.
It's fascinating. That was your first job.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good basic training. Before we bring in Tim, Ty, did you want to say something?
Well, yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, if I'm watching this and I'm maybe haul cars, what do you, when you say, why does a dealer need cybersecurity? I'm trying to figure out why, and I heard you use the word malware or ransomware. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. I mean, people are taking data from a dealership and ransoming the data for money? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so there's two elements. This is part of our education that we're going through with auto dealerships. So I think that majority of the dealers are now up to speed with the compliance element. So compliance is essentially, you have to do it, otherwise you're going to get slapped by the government. So it's a necessary evil for them. So they are doing this. One example is the FTC safeguard rule. So what you mentioned, Ty, is that when you're going to buy a car, the government want to make sure that Ty info, not the dealer info, is protected. So they take the necessary steps to protect your data. So that's a compliance element. There's some overlap. But cybersecurity, think that you're coming, the dealer, the general manager of the dealership, getting up at 8 a.m., open up the computer, boom, nothing. You cannot sell a damn car. You cannot release car from service. The money is ticking. And worse than that, some guy or some lady sending him a message if they're not paying $1 million. An average cost, by the way, ran from $900K to $4 million for automotive breach. they're not going to get their data back. Now, many saying that, I'm using web application. That's why we put in those questions. It was intriguing to see that this is a solution. We found that majority, and Tim's going to share some of the mind-boggling stuff that we found, are sitting on their data. And also, if a criminal is able to enter their computer, they are able to use those web applications. So think about Honda dealer that somebody's breached. Now this criminal can access the Honda system to breach their Honda system through that dealer. By the way, not a new, but a very popular type of attack for criminal lately called supply chain attack. Just today, I saw another technology firm. So supply chain attack means that instead of attacking you directly, Honda, they're going to go to the vendors that's servicing Honda, and they're going to breach them. And through those vendors, they're going to basically hack Honda, because Honda allowing those vendors to connect with them. They allow them into the system. So it's not going to help you if you have web application, and it can literally can get you out of business. Now, not to mention that, think about the reputation. Would you want to buy a car from a Honda dealership that was just breached and all this data that they released? I wouldn't want to buy a car from that dealership. So there's also element of a reputation cost that involved with this.
That's yes, because then when we do hear a national news headline, it sticks with you for a while, probably quite a while, and you don't want to be there. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring in Tim. This is really fascinating. So we're lucky to have One Step Secure IT with us here tonight. So please do help us wish a very warm welcome to the first time on ATI taking center stage, going to give a presentation. I tell you, we bring you a mobile trade show on Tuesday nights. Well, this is certainly no exception, and I know that this may not be a topic you want to think about, but you're quickly realizing how important it is. Tim, can you see us and hear us okay? Getting dialed in. And by the way, Josh is in the live chat. Josh and Cole can take questions. So in there with One Step Secure IT. And, oh yeah, there's Josh, there's Cole in the live chat. Okay, Tim, can you see us and hear us okay?
I can hear you awesomely.
All right, I'll take that. Awesome. We can see you. We can hear you. Please say hello and tell us a little more about you.
Hi, Tim Derrickson. I work as the Director of IT and Security Services for One Step. Basically, my job is to secure all of our clients and to secure One Step IT from all incidences. I have a CISSP. I've been working with security for about 15 years. I've been in the IT industry for about 30 years. I cannot hear you at all.
Okay. Going
there
again.
You go.
There we go.
I can hear you now.
I was on courtesy mute. I get to leave the things in there. Okay, let me say it again. Sorry about that live chat. I saw something about the difference between security and IT.
So,
can you elaborate on that? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. And it's interesting because we talk about security, we talk about IT, we talk about compliances, and we always worry about what's going on. So IT is all about making sure that you can do your job. So in every the auto dealership or every small business, IT is all about making sure that you can access that data and make sure that you can do the job that you're supposed to be doing. Security is all about securing it, making sure that in transit, at rest, in use, that the data, whether it's PII, PCSI, or PCI.DSS, CMMC v2, whatever it is, we make sure that that data is encrypted and not being taken off of whatever you're using. You also have compliance, which is different from security. You can be secure and not complied. You can be compliance and not secure. So it's a lot of work.
Okay.
And
that makes sense. Okay. So I've allowed screen share. It sounds like you've got kind of a presentation for us. You want to take that away, and then we'll continue our deep dive here into cyber security logistics in automotive business.
Get this running.
And whatever your question or idea or topic, whether it's user accounts or from a user perspective, from a business perspective, how about a ransomware thought or question, cyber security, phishing. By the way, that was another one I think that we were potentially looking at. These are different types of attacks, right? Phishing, malware, cybersecurity.
Oh, absolutely. So phishing is all about trying to get someone to click on something, right? Or even talking to someone. Phishing can be done over the phone. I'm literally right now at a security conference.
Oh,
and
awesome.
Part of it is about, and they told us about this, they actually had some old school stuff where someone actually emailed postcards to the people.
Really?
And and so instead of the new way of click on it, so you get in your email and you get the little link and it says please click on this to make sure that you're doing whatever it is. And so they actually sent it to us Gen Xers in a postcard, and they said type in this this URL and then click on it so that we can do whatever it is that they wanted them to do. And they actually did it, and they broke into these people's environments and stole information and actually breached their environments. So it's really interesting how they are now working on different ways to make sure that they can get into your environment and steal your information. And so what we look at now is we look at the different ways that we can secure your environment. So we want to start at the beginning, right? So we want to look at your environment. We want to find out what your critical data is. We want to do a risk assessment. We want to find out what your critical assets are, what your critical systems are, and how we can stop people from being able to take what you have. And then from there, what we want to do is once we look at all of your environment, we want to say, okay, let's go ahead and we're going to implement we want to implement access control. So we want to stop all the people from accessing everything. So we want to work with least privilege. So we want to say, okay, what does it take to do your job? What do you have to do in order to complete everything that you're doing to do your job? And once we can do that, then we can start looking at training people how to understand what they're doing in all of their environments. So we want to tell them, look at your emails, look at your what's coming across other people's emails, what people are sending you. What's interesting is we get all the time, the CEO is sending you information because they're in the middle of a meeting. And so they want to be able to they need to get money to a specific person, or they want to buy gift cards. Everybody's done a great job this quarter. And we want to be able to tell them to buy gift cards or buy whatever it is. And we want to make sure that they understand that why would the CEO or the CFO or the head of marketing tell you to buy these specific things? and tell you that this is something you have to do to make sure that all your people are happy, right? We want to make sure that we train people to tell them how to keep their environment safe and make sure that they don't oversell, right?
If I may jump here, Tim wanted to make it visualize for them some of the example that we saw. So part of our process is we provide a free cybersecurity diagnostic, and what we found in auto dealership and other similar companies is just mind-boggling. It's not because anybody's bad or anybody has bad intention, but for example, we found unencrypted W-2 of one of the executives. To contain their income. You ask Ty, what's the impact of somebody? Now I have your W-2, I have your Social Security, I have your income. We even found credential to the bank. So literally we could have moved money out of the account. And some of this stuff cannot be protected. Not all of this stuff can be protected with technology. Some of it is the training. So, I need to know not to save my password and emails on my C drive.
Right. And it's really interesting the fact of when we start doing all of these pen testing. So we actually go out to all the different systems, and like Ron was saying, and the fact that we've done probably about over the last couple of years, 3,000 pen tests, that we see so many different things that are common. So we see W-2s on people's systems. We actually saw one the other day on a 401k that, you actually see Social Security numbers, account numbers, the actual 401k itself. So we want to make sure that when people are looking at their systems, that they're keeping everything within whether a compliance is security. Like I said, I'm at a security training right now where it's actually a little bit different in the fact of we're seeing how easy it can be if you don't understand how to breach someone's environment. And so much is done in phishing, where they actually sit there, whether they send out an email or they use OSINT, which is Open Systems Intelligence, looking at people's systems to find out if there are vulnerabilities, which is why we want to keep softwares and applications updated and moving forward in the fact of everybody needs to make sure that whether it's Windows, Mac OS, Linux, that they're keeping all of their systems up to date, that they're watching out for all these different vulnerabilities that are coming out. We have threat intelligence that tell us when these specific vulnerabilities come into place and that you need to patch and make sure everything's okay. We need to make sure that you have some type of antivirus, anti-malware, we call them MDR, EDR, which is endpoint detection and response or managed detection and response, looking at systems and what's going on with whether they're receiving email and clicking on something, which is phishing, but anti-malware, antivirus will also stop that from happening as well as within your email. We want to make sure that we're keeping all of our hard drives encrypted so that if someone does get into a specific environment, they're unable to move laterally, right? So if I'm able to penetrate into an environment when I'm doing a pen test, if I have encryption across the workstations, it's a little bit harder to try and figure out what's on those individual workstations outside of what I'm looking at. It's so important to make sure that you are hiding your critical data, making sure that whatever your critical data or your critical infrastructure is encrypted. And if it does happen that someone gets into your environments, that you do have an incident response plan. So important. And this is probably, personally, I feel that this is probably one of the most important things, right? We go on vacation, we plan everything out, we look at it, we want to go to Italy, we want to see the Colosseum, we want to see the Pantheon. We sit there and we plan everything out piece by piece. In an incident response plan, when someone finally, if it does happen, and it's no longer a question of if, but when, if it's going to happen, I want to know that I understand what exactly I need to do to make sure that I'm safe. So incident response plan, critical to your environment. I can't express how important it actually is to have that incident response plan in place so that I know, do I need to contact a lawyer? Do I need to contact my insurance? Do I need to contact whom? Do I have a someone who's in charge of my incidents and running those bridges and making sure that I am staying safe and they understand what needs to be done in order to stop or mitigate whatever's in place. So having an incident response plan, making sure that we have a defense in depth. You know, we have encryption, we have anti-malware, we have antivirus, we have everything in place that we're supposed to, but when it does happen, we have right of boom, we have left of boom. Right of boom means that I've already been hit and I need to mitigate as much as possible how I'm going to handle everything. Left of boom, I'm making sure that it's been mitigated as I walk through it and I'm okay as I handle this incident. So it's so critical to understand cybersecurity in in any small business, to understand that it's a possibility that you're going to have to walk through this incident. And if you're going to walk through it, make sure you have that plan in place.
Yeah, I mean, with 84% of auto dealership, it's a high probability. And I think that on incident response plan, we have seen many companies that were hacked. And some of them, their stocks crashed, significantly. And the big difference between those who succeed and those who went, all the way down, where how they handled the breach, how quickly they notify everybody, the transparency, the process that they followed. And this is where people is willing to continue to do business with you. If, it's breach could happen to anybody, it's how you emerge out of the breach. So if you're not taking, some companies went out of business because not handling the incident response, as Tim mentioned, properly. So it's really key. I just saw another company today, a software company that implement point of sales. And they took them 3 weeks to notify that they've been breached. And their customer already felt, because the customer with the POS system could not access the POS. So finding out this way is not going to do well for your company. So yes, protecting the company, you don't want to be in that situation. But after that is you want to make sure that it's drilled, like in the Army. Both Tim and I serve in the Army. You want to be doing that. Mindful.
But go ahead.
The same, yes, Navy. But you have to be drilled. You have to not only have the plan in the draw. Everybody needs to know, be drilled, what to do.
I wanna bring it home to, all right. So you talk about auto dealers, and in my mind, I'm also thinking of like brokers. Okay, brokers are. In transportation and logistics, they're using some technology. They're interfacing with the shipper who's relying on them. they're dispatching, arranging freight loads to carriers who are also relying on their technology and getting paid. So a broker seems pretty vulnerable to me in a situation where, without any plan or readiness, if I'm a cyber criminal, is this a target, or
everybody's a target? I think that's
Great.
something everybody needs to really understand. And I think that we sent out if you look at the question set that we sent earlier. So SMBs are 50% of what criminals are looking at, because they're easy targets and they're soft targets, because we can go in and not only can we start doing phishing attempts. What's the timeout, Ty?
Well, some of our people may not know what SMB is.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Small business.
Small and medium. Is it small?
Yeah.
Small and
medium businesses.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
And as Ron said earlier, under 1,000 employees. So that would be pretty much anybody here is an SMB. Fair?
Yes.
But good one. Thanks for asking.
Sorry, I just didn't mean to interrupt you, Tim. Go
I
ahead.
like that.
Oh, no problem, Ty. I think what's interesting about the whole thing is this fact of, so 50%, it's 50-50. It's a 50-50, and they're going to look for low-hanging fruit, right? So criminals, when it comes to cybersecurity, it's all about money. That's what they want. There's no eco, they're not looking for anything political for the most part on the small business side of it, in the small, medium business. It's all about money. They are a crime syndicate, and that's what they do. I actually just went through a scenario where the crime syndicate actually sent the email out to the industry, and they said basically, when they were asking for their money, they're very polite. They want you to understand it's all about money. We want your money, and this is why we want your money. We can take your email addresses. We can take your information that we're pulling from your databases, and we can sell it on the dark web for so much money. So if we can do this, this is what we want from you. And if we can get this from you, great. If we can't get it from you, then fine, we're going to sell it outside, and they will. So it's
nothing
crime.
Personal. It's nothing personal.
What do you do there?
Yeah. I used to get upset, by getting all these. I'm getting it myself. For pre-texting, to my phone. People are basically saying me, I own you. I own all of your assets, and if you're not paying anything,
right?
Yeah. And it's easy to get upset, but they don't care about this way. It's personal. If I fail, they get the money. If I'm diligent or not, they move to the next one and the next one. Tim, there's a question coming from the chat to you about what was the smallest fine you have seen in a data breach?
The smallest fine?
Yes.
Oh, are we talking a fine, or are we actually talking about what the criminal is asking for?
Okay,
yeah.
let's do
Is it
both.
a fine from the government or the city, or
I'm
is
guessing
it
it's probably the cost, probably a cost associated with the smallest.
Let's
breach.
do both. What might you be getting fined by the government, and what might you be being ransomed? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's always the scariest part, right? So if you look at the way they look at things, so if the government feels that you're paying a terrorist organization, they're going to shut you down. Basically, they're going to start going after you in any way that they can because you're paying a terrorist organization, and that's what they feel. And then you have to prove that you're not. One. Two, the smallest fine, it really all depends, because, when did it start? They really started in '89. It was like, it was $189 for the World Health Organization to pay out to I don't remember the name of it.
Oh
I
my gosh,
apologize.
World Health Organization.
Yeah, this was back in 1989. They actually they passed out 3.5-inch floppy disks, and that's how they got it. It was $189 to get it unencrypted. Nowadays, it could be anywhere. In 2019, it was around $6,000, and right now they're talking anywheres from 6,000 up until 1.5 million. And it's also changed in the fact of in 2020, 2021, they still weren't releasing the data that they were giving. So the whether it was Conti or one of the other cyber gangs that were out there, they weren't giving back the data. But now they've started to learn. Yeah, well, criminal organizations at this point, right? Syndicates. Now they're actually they're saying that right around 75%, once you pay, you're getting back 75% of the time you're actually getting back your data. But now the cost of each one is rising. So you're talking, 1.5 to 2 million. Oh, of course, yeah, right.
And that's what the syndicate's saying. Listen,
I gotta keep up with inflation.
Yeah.
Jeez, what do you think this is?
And how is this not going to continue to get worse?
I think it's not going to get worse in the fact that we're learning as well. So they used to say it was about 300 to 360 days that they were actually in the environment looking at things and able to actually just sit there and map out your environments. And we're getting shorter and shorter because as we get better at what we do, and that is discovering that they're in our environments, the shorter the amount of time they're in the environment.
So that's interesting. Do you think then, when you work with businesses, you've got a better early detection system as well as quicker reactions and whatnot?
I think we're actually getting better at it in the fact of they're in a shorter amount of time that we're actually understanding it. And we had actually one today where we're seeing it actually happen. We're seeing these brute forces going on. We're seeing all these things within the environment happening, and we're able to shut them down in a shorter amount of time. And that comes back to the incident response plan and the fact of if I know that I have to follow this specific procedure and I go in and something starts to happen, I go, okay, so I open up this policy or this playbook and I go, okay, these are the steps I need to follow. And as I'm following these steps, I'm able to stop specific things from happening. So I'm shortening the time that these people are in my environment. And when I'm able to actually basically look at what's happening and stop it.
I had a thought. So just like if you've got like a random smash and crash criminal walking around a neighborhood, they're looking for houses with no security systems and stuff, right?
Exactly.
So
That's exactly it.
Okay, so can a syndicate or cyber criminal see, this small business has somebody, let's go to the next one?
Exactly.
They can?
Well, what they'll also do is a fact of, okay, we'll say that your business A, I don't want you, I want business B, C, and D. So I'm going to sit inside of you because I can. And I'm going to wait until I get that opportunity to move outside of you. So, they're intelligent.
Well, that sounds like a parasite. God.
It can be.
It's the same with the airline analogy. When they figured out that they can't break into those airlines, they went to the neighbor. And if we start protecting those auto dealerships, make it more difficult for criminals to break into auto dealership and logistics, they're going to go to another industry. They started with the banks. Now they can get easier money. Yes, they don't have, people visualize the bank, have the safe with all the golds inside, but you can get quite a bit money from other industry as well.
Well,
Right.
I think
That's
Jay's
interesting.
giving you some new leads here.
Yeah.
I think the broker world might be the next
I
opportunity
seriously-
for one step.
I'm gonna say it, just as I never thought just starting a brokering gig would be, the greatest idea. But now with all the technology and potential vulnerabilities, I think it's an even less of a great idea. But businesses gotta operate. I know. I'm sorry. What great
Yes.
job, Jay. Listen, here's what I want to do. I want to bring in Denise. Denise is the COO of LA Business Journal and covering these stories and holding conferences is really important. So Denise helps do that. And in fact, we saw in the live chat, I just shared it, this just in, where'd it go? It was, Toyota admits to yet another cloud leak. And I just shared the link in the live chat. So, right, this is an ongoing, needed to be shared and reported on situation. Denise, can you see us and hear us okay?
I can. Can you hear me and see me okay?
We can see you. We can hear you. Please say hello, introduce yourself, and tell us more about you.
My name's Denise Kozlowski. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at the Los Angeles Business Journal and the San Fernando Business Journal, and also a client of One Step. So they've been working closely with our organization to help us get secure and educated, and we've learned a lot in the process.
And then from there, I guess there's stories and there's a symposium coming up. You want to talk more about that?
Yes, that's correct. So we cover all business news in Los Angeles and also San Fernando Valley. And we do a lot of events for we're B2B, so for all of the businesses in our region. And one of the events we have coming up is going to be a cybersecurity symposium. We don't have an exact date yet, so there's a link in the description of the YouTube. Follow that. So we will be releasing it soon, but we're looking at end of September right now. And at that symposium, we are going to be discussing everything you can do to secure your business. We're going to have panels of experts come in and do full education. And it's really just a great opportunity to get up to speed, learn as much as you can, and get current.
I'm assuming there's a growing thirst and need for this information.
Yes, I was looking up statistics, and I'm sure One Step knows a lot of them too, but I saw a statistic that said that ransomware attacks have increased 300%. And I saw that you posted a statistic saying 64%, I think, of businesses in the automotive industry have been attacked. So it's definitely on the rise. It's getting more and more prevalent. We're seeing that everywhere. And so, us as an organization, we try to do everything we can to protect ourselves. So, some of the stuff I've learned is, for example, like multi-factor authentication. Wherever you can enable that, enable it. Your email, your website logins, anywhere and everywhere, put it in place and force your employees to do it. Or even simple things like forcing your employees to reset their password every 90 days. We do that. I get a lot of complaints from the staff, but it's worth it at the end of the day. It saves you a big headache if, someone is trying to get into your system and they can't because your passwords are on lockdown. So that's another thing that we've learned. There's so much I could go into detail on. Would you like me to continue, or do you have some more questions?
Well, I saw there was some, developed a WHIP, reset passwords. Yeah, keep going. There's a long list.
Yes, so it's actually a WISP, a WISP.
Okay.
Yes, and that I was going to speak on that a little bit. What that is a written information security program. So Tim was talking a lot about having a plan for reaction if you're ever attacked, but I have been working a lot on the protection and getting those things in place to secure, so to prevent that from ever happening. So like, I think a great baseline to start with is a WISP, the Written Information Security Program. And that's really looking at like, what are your authentication protocols, like that multi-factor authentication or changing that password every 90 days? And then what are your permission controls? Who is allowed to have access to what? And how restrictive are you being? Are you being restrictive enough? You only really want to give your core people access to the things that they need. You don't want to give too much access to anything because that just opens up risk, right? So looking at that and having a standard for permissions and controls. Are you encrypting your records? Are you PCI compliant? PCI compliant has to do with credit cards. So something we looked at in our business is making sure that nobody is ever writing down a credit card number. We have systems in place. So if we're ever taking a credit card for a subscription, our subscribers put their credit card information directly into a PCI compliant vendor system that we have set up. So we never even interact with their credit card information. And then once that information is plugged in, there's a token system that, and the information is encrypted, that prevents that from ever being leaked. So that's like the highest level of security you could have with credit cards, and we have that implemented everywhere. You never want to store credit card information anywhere. Also, just having any private information that you do have, HR information, you talked about W-2s, for example, making sure that wherever those are being stored, they're being stored, in the safest, securest location that you can. That may be a paper file. And that paper file may be in a locked cabinet, in a locked room. How secure can you get? This more secure, the better. And then making sure the access to those files is limited. And if you ever have to transmit sensitive information, what's your procedure for transmission? So one thing that we learned from One Step actually was a great tool to use if you're going to send any kind of password credentials or sensitive files or anything that has any level of secure information to it. You can use a tool called safenote.co. And it's so great. It's very easy to use. You just go online. It's free. You put whatever information you want to. You send that information through a link to the recipient, and they can only click it once. It only is good once, and it expires. So we use that a lot to send information. And then what else do we have?
I just shared that in the live chat.
Yeah. There are a lot of different tools that you can use, right? So we shared that with Denise because we like using it. It's a really easy tool to use and it's free. But there's also other tools that you can use that you can go whether or a paid service where you're actually encrypting your information, whether it's files or email itself, like Microsoft 365. If you have an E3 license, you can actually encrypt everything you're sending to somebody. There's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. But I think what the important way to look at everything is the fact of we want to keep you safe. We want to keep Denise safe always. Hi, Denise. And we want to keep everybody safe. And that's something that we want to do is we want to share that knowledge to make sure that everybody understands that there are ways to run your business, whether using open source intelligence or using a paid service to keep your information safe and your company safe.
Yeah. Another point I wanted to make is we talked about supply chain attack and third-party risk. Just today, there was another unfortunate breach, a company called MoveIt. It's a file transfer technology. And so the criminal, instead of attacking British Airways, we spoke about airline, they actually compromised MoveIt. And from there, They compromised some major enterprises, including British Airways. So one of the key additional element you need to look into is risk assessment. This is part of the stuff that we are always also involved in, is if you're looking at the auto dealership, they have maybe 10, 15, maybe 100 vendors, and they allow them in. They open the gate. Let's interact. Are you just send them a questionnaire? So the traditional way was, hey, Ron, can you fill up this questionnaire? Can you do this? Just check. Okay, you're allowed in. So there's more to do about that because criminals are looking for sideways to get into your organization.
So I just shared a link to the cybersecurity risk assessment you were just referring to. Let's do this. Scott is ready to go. Let's bring in Scott and round out the panel. And also, Tim, I saw that background of the... I like that chart, and I want to talk about that too. But before we do, first time on ATI, please do welcome. This is the CEO and founder of One Step Secure IT. He's also author of Cyberstorm. Please do help me wish a warm welcome to Scott Kreisberg. He's joining us now via encrypted channel. Okay.
Yeah.
Scott, can you see us and hear us okay?
Oh, my goodness. Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. We see you. We hear you. Please say hello. Tell us some more about you, please.
Hi, everybody. Yeah. So thank you for having me, Jay and Ty. It's great to see you guys here. What a great channel. And it's great to see Denise. Hi. Hey, Denise. Good to see you. So, yeah, my background, I've been involved with technology since its inception. The PC, I learned how to build them way before there was a Dell computers. You had to buy a computer from a computer guy. I was one of those guys. And so for many years, we've been helping businesses with their technology, anywhere from inventory control to point of sale, both brick and mortar and online. But over the years, seeing just one too many people decimated by these threat actors just really got to me. So even though we were helping our clients with security, we didn't create and hire the necessary resources until, like Tim said, I think earlier, last 5 to 7 years, and really invested heavily and created a curated solution for our clients to help protect them from being, exploited in a statistic. I think these guys have said all kinds of statistics today, but I think even Denise had some statistics earlier. That's impressive. But so I came prepared too. So some ransom 2023 statistics. I don't think I heard anybody with specific ransomware statistics, but 66% of the businesses last year were hit with some form of ransomware. Let that sink in.
Wow. Ransomware.
So, with ransomware. And the average ransom paid, the average went up from $812,000 to $1.5 million. So I can't understand why businesses kind of, brush this off. 75% of the SMBs that were hit, and you were right, Jay, SMBs are, 1,000 employees and up. So I would think it's the vast majority of your audience paid over 100K. Now here's the worst one, I think, besides the dollars. Average business halted time, 22 days. So how many of your audience could survive being down 22 days? I don't know. So
and I guess that's why that 6 months out of business in 6 months comes into play, because you're just getting killed.
Besides the bad press and all that. And you said earlier, I heard you, I was watching the show, you put your credit card information in for your favorite sandwich.
Right.
So
and I don't normally do that. And and there it is.
So now you're right. You're dependent on that sandwich firm to protect it.
I've got a code to get in my phone, but I was thinking about that. So you lose your phone at the wrong place at the wrong time, and you don't have any log in, access, whatever, and there you go, right? It's a field day.
God. And don't get me started on cell phone protection. I mean, I actually, I have 2 phones. So, today people are getting held up on the streets and, with facial recognition, just holding the phones up and they're right in there.
I was just going to say, hey, log in your phone. And then, now, thank you. Or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. This is crazy.
Yeah. So
I'm really uncomfortable.
I could make you more uncomfortable if you want.
Great. Yeah. Hey, talk about the chart behind you. I know what it is, but yeah, talk about it.
Yeah, so the chart behind me is basically how long it takes someone like myself or someone in the security industry to break into someone's system. So if you just have numbers only, basically it's instantly up to 11 characters.
And you're talking about your password, right?
Your password, correct. So, and if it's letters only, 8 characters, it's instantly. If you're using letters and numbers, it would take someone like myself probably about 10 minutes to break into your account, which means that if I'm able to get into your environment, and I think this is a scary part, right? So I get past your firewall in your company. Now I'm looking at trying to move laterally between someone else's computer to find an admin. So if you just have letters and numbers, it's instant. At the most, it's going to take me 20 minutes if you have special characters, if you're just using the standard, the old 8 characters. So if you're using 8 characters and you have letters, special characters, it's going to take me about 7 hours, tops.
Which is funny because that's about how long it takes some people just to find their password to log back into Netflix.
Yeah, me too. And I have, and my passwords are right around 24 characters. So when I have to remember to log in, because I know that Scott would get mad at me if I logged in with something easier, my passwords are right around between 20 and 24 characters to log in. And it takes somewhere around 2,000 years to break it right now.
Wow.
I want to say something that I really was impressed by. The culture that Scott Institute is that you see many organizations pitching, security awareness. But what's unique about One Step is that we are drinking from the same medicine we are pitching. Internally, we have locks on the doors. Not everyone can access the same door, the finance. We have ongoing monitoring systems, monitoring our system, obviously managed service provider, which we are, high target again. So the same thing we are pitching to our customers, complexity of the password, exploration that Denise is suffering. We are suffering the same thing, rechanging it. So we are, before we pitching anything, we are implementing it internally. And it's easy to get overwhelmed. You saw Tim was looking into 5 different layers, 7, some people looking 15, 17 different layers. So it's really overwhelming. That's why I need companies with a high level of expertise that test those solutions internally before implementing it at the client.
Hey, I want to go back to some basics for a second. I want to talk about managing passwords and phishing scams. But in the quiz section, we saw what you should do with an attachment that you're suspicious. And I think it was save it and analyze it, where I thought it was just delete it.
Yeah, which is, deleting it's not a bad thing, actually, if you think about it. So if you delete it, you're safe, right? It's gone. You don't have to worry about it. But what's really interesting is if you can save it and send it to your staff that actually handles these types of things, we can put it in a sandbox, right? We put it in a place and we actually call it, we explode it. So we'll actually look and see exactly what happens when we open these things up, which is really interesting sometimes.
And we just had this, right, Tim? We just had this. I got hit with some spam that I thought was real, so I forwarded it to Tim. He's like, no bueno.
Yeah, and it's great to look at. Well, it's really interesting too, Scott.
Great to
Not
look
only-
at. He said.
It is. And, well, it's fun for us on the security side, right? We get to play. But what's really interesting about the whole thing is that you start creating that culture of, we want you to save it and send it to us, and then we're going to send you an email back. I actually got an email back today from one of our salespeople, and they said, well, Scott sent me an email, and I haven't told you this yet, Scott, because I got it today, that Scott was welcoming this person into our environment, and he wanted to say, I need to talk to you. I can only text you. So it was a phishing email. So it's that first initial set of phishing emails that people really don't understand. And the fact that they're not asking for you to click a link. They're not asking for you to do anything. It's more of a trust thing. If they can build that trust in this email, then they can get you to do something later.
Like Thursday or Friday of last week, my accounting department sent me an email saying, just want to confirm this before I pay it. And it was for a donation to a company that had legitimate logos on it. It'd be something I would do, right? Donation to this firm. And I wrote, no, this is not mine. So that's just an internal training thing. I think you had a question earlier, Jay, about what's your first line of defense.
Right.
And there is an example where it's not even phishing, right? That's just somebody, and they had the wiring instructions, I mean, if they get 1 million of those out for $2,500, I mean, it's great money.
It's interesting, like the UPS one and the FedEx ones get me. I mean, I don't click on them, but I'm like, yeah, it seems legit. I think I've got a UPS coming, but I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm not doing anything.
The best rule is to never actually click on links. That's real. So if you got something from UPS, right, and you're expecting something from UPS, so why wouldn't you click on it? My standard modus operandi is never click on a link. You have an account on UPS. Go to ups.com, put your account data in there, and you'll see the tracking information of whatever it is you're looking for. Don't click on links.
I really think when it comes down to basics in carrier logistics, online scams, is somebody clicked something they shouldn't have clicked, and that's.
Well, you got to do it live. We got to do it live. On Thursday, we got to have Tim. We got to have Tim come in, get one of Sue's emails, send it to Tim, and let Tim throw it in the sandbox and watch it explode. We got to do it.
They're like the bomb squad.
It's actually interesting, Ty, because what's really interesting about the whole thing is the fact of this. So when someone sends you an email and they say, click on this, there is so much that's really going on in the background, in the fact of even when you click on something. So if someone sends you and says, Ty, I'm going to send you this email and it's a PDF and it's an invoice, you click on it and you go, nothing happens. I open it up and nothing happens. There's nothing there. Well, in the background, I'm pulling all your information. I'm pulling everything out of your browsers that's been cached. I'm looking at your session tokens for maybe your Microsoft 365 or your Teams. And I'm trying to steal everything that's back there while you're clicking on it going, what's going on? Nothing.
Yeah. Okay, here's one. What are the fake LinkedIn profiles doing? I'm seeing them a lot now. Like, those are fake people trying to set up a LinkedIn profile so I accept the invite. What are they doing?
Well, there's
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ron. Go ahead. No, Ron.
No, I was early on. I was bombarded by, it's usually for a guy. It's a young, beautiful women that look unreal. So there's many aspects, and I think Tim was alluded to that. It's kind of building trust. But for sales guys, essentially, they were getting my connection and then start bombarding me by offer to have an outsource SDR. start offering it. So connecting with me, and the connection with me also allow them to build trust with other folks. Oh, we connected to Ron. Ron has like 6,000 connection.
Right.
I can definitely accept that, and it's building that network.
Okay, but that's the extent of right? They're not. They can't. I don't know. That's what I wanted. I thought it was a building a trust thing, but I didn't know if it was more sinister. So, and I now look for that. I'll see that they've got a couple. They got a couple people that I know, but I'm like, no, you're not a shipping expert. No.
Yeah. Now with the deep fake is the ability to create visual that look like an individual. It's getting worse and worse with the deep fake.
It's all about identity at this point. So if I can find out, so if I know who Scott Kreisberg is, so what I do is then I go and I do a whole bunch of OSINT, which is open source intelligence, right? I can do dumpster dive. I can do all these different little things to find out who Scott Kreisberg is and what his company is. Once I do that, now I can start looking at how do I become Scott Kreisberg? How do I become Ty? How do I become Jay? How do I become Denise? So if I can send them an email that they click on, once again, phishing is all about clicking on that link, trusting me enough that you're going to do something that you wouldn't normally do. And once you do that, I own you. And that's, it's all about going into the systems at that point. Once I can figure out what your weak points are, if I can get you to click on something and get into your environment, if I can get into your environment, you're not getting me out anytime soon.
And where I think they get really tricky too is the spoofing. So you may get an email that looks like I might get an email that looks like it's coming from Tim, but it's not sent from Tim. It's a spoof. So unless I think to check and make sure that the email address actually came from him, it would be very easy for me to just click on whatever he sent. So that's another thing you have to watch out for, is not only the content of the email, but make sure that the sender is actually the sender that you think they are. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to have a very tough time sleeping tonight.
Well,
you're making me proud.
In vehicle logistics, and this is a specific problem that is growing, is that shippers are connecting with carriers via an electronic dispatch. And somewhere along the way, a cyber criminal got a hold of this dispatch and then pretended to be the carrier, collected the shipper's money, and in fact went and picked up the car pretending to be the carrier. You now have stolen money, stolen car, and it's like happening. I mean, it's like, whoa. I just started really hearing about this. It's a growing thing, right? Ty's racking it up. But I mean, so what? I know somebody's thinking, man, what do we do?
Well, there's a lot of things you can do.
Oh, you do?
What do you do,
I know the
Ty?
answer. Call Tim and Ron and Scott and get signed up immediately. I mean, 1-800 call Ron. How do we get a hold of you guys, really? I mean, because I'm sitting here listening to this, and I'm like, okay, we know a lot of people. We know a lot of small businesses. We talk to a lot of people. Jay's not joking. This really is a topic right now. And it's interesting because I used to have a bunch of trucks. I don't have any now, but we didn't have this problem. We didn't do any of this stuff. And so to hear this, it sounds foreign, but I mean, yeah, I look at my emails. I delete everything. I don't open nothing. And it gives you the first headliner. I've hacked your email or whatever, ransomed your email, and I'm like, no. But anyway, I really think that we do know a lot of people. People will watch this. This is an important topic. If I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm thinking, okay, it reminds me, before I got into any kind of trucking, I was going to college and selling life insurance and 403Bs, right? Trying to sell life insurance to somebody is like I'm guessing, tell me if I'm right or wrong, but it sounds like I need this security, but I don't need it until I'm dead, right? Is that how it works, Tim?
I don't think that's quite that bad. Yeah.
Right.
Cybersecurity is inconvenient until it's not.
All right. So let's say you're a carrier that's been stolen from in this fashion. what should they do?
Wow, that's a loaded question, honestly.
Is it? I don't
So
know.
yeah, absolutely it is, because what the problem is this: one, if you don't have cyber liability insurance, you're going to pay for it yourself. We'll just start there. So now you're talking about an average of around $900 and something $1,000 to pay for all of your employees, benefits, handling your payroll, working with keeping your infrastructure up. So if you don't have that, then you're just going to be paying. If you have cyber liability insurance, then you have some mitigation in place. You want to call your insurance company. You want to make sure that you have all these different. You want to have an instant response plan in place, and you want to know what it means to have an instant response plan in place. You want to do tabletops. You want to make sure that your team understands exactly what's going to happen during this process. I'm actually at a conference, and Scott knows this, right now for cybersecurity. And I'm telling you right now that I'm scared of all the stuff that I've learned while I've been here.
All
and
right,
that's
so
just
Denise,
looking at,
get on a plane and go to the conference. You'll never sleep again.
Yeah, no, we want Denise
We're
to
having
sleep.
our own, so imagine the trauma I'll be experiencing after this.
We want Denise to sleep, know that we're taking care of her, and that's why I'm where I am. But you really need to have the procedures and policies in place. You need to understand what you're doing. You need to have some type of security or cybersecurity personnel taking care of your environment, which is what we do and what Scott has put together for us. And that's a man that I love working for, because he actually understands the culture that you need to have in place to be secure.
I was going to ask Tim and Scott, what percentage of your clients do you think have cyber insurance? Because it's such a large percentage of SMB businesses that are getting hit. So do you think that people are buying insurance and protecting themselves, or do you think a lot of people are just winging it?
Well, it's not high enough. I can tell you that. Do you know the number, Tim? Because Josh,
I think we're pretty close for our clientele. We're pretty close to 100%. I would say at least 80 to 90% of our people actually have cyber liability, because we talk about it all the time.
I think nationally, the average is well below 50%.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
The problem, Denise, is that the cyber liability policies have gotten very, very expensive. They were really, really reasonable like 5 years ago. And now if you want to get a policy, you have to prove that you've got appropriate security in place. Otherwise, they won't even insure you.
I
or
was
they're
just going to say, you're right, the hoops you got to go through to qualify for coverage.
It's just like medical.
Some of them, the silver lining is I think some of them do offer some sort of incentive or discount if you do meet a certain threshold. So it can work in your favor too. But yes, we've seen that definitely.
Yeah, and we actually have clients where they've actually tried to go a little bit above and beyond because of who they are and the businesses that they are, that they're trying to get a specific amount. And it's really interesting, some of those hoops, I guess would be the word, that you have to jump through in order to make it. And we've been working with them, and they have made it through those hoops. And the fact of, you have to have specific things in place, policies, multi-factor authentication. There's so many different things, and they're getting worse in the fact of some of the health and medical field cyber liability insurance that we're working with.
Oh, I can't. A medical field. Oh, man.
Each year gets a little bit worse in some of those questionnaires that we're seeing, and it's harder to kind of push them through and make sure that they're where they're supposed to be for the cyber liability insurance.
We didn't really talk about FTC safeguards rule, and I can't say I'm anxious to talk about it. But in a nutshell, does anybody have anything to add about this June 9th update?
It reminds me of PCI, I can tell you that. When PCI was introduced a number of years ago, so many of our clients just kind of brushed it off. And once they brush it off and the fines start to occur, the businesses start to take it more seriously. We've talked to a number of dealers, and many of them, I think they just feel like they've heard enough about it. Is that what you hear, Jay? Like,
so right, it's one of the, it's an annoyance until, because I was listening to, this is what makes podcasts so interesting, is I was listening to a podcast to learn more about what it is that we're talking about. And Denise, you raised a good point when you don't want to take a consumer's credit card information. So if you're a dealer and you end up with, just a photo of a test driver's license on your personal phone, you're already in breach. It's that specific. And that's why you do want to pay attention, so that you're not doing things that would otherwise seem logical, but it's not the 80s anymore. You can't do that.
Not the 80s. I mean, I got a new car maybe a year ago. They would still email me my, driving license and social security, even credit card. Take a picture and email this back to me. So this is not the 80s. This is not too long ago.
And each of those, Jay, is a violation, right? So, the salesperson
I think
that
that's
takes a
correct.
picture,
Each one
right,
is
so
a violation.
That's a violation.
Right.
And then, the guy who sends the social security number, like at one step, we won't, if somebody emails us a credit card or anything like that, we delete it immediately. It's not saved. It's like against the company policy. And as we were talking about earlier, we have electronic locks on all these doors, and you can't even get into accounting department because they might have PI, personally identifiable information, laying out on their desk. They have to. They're working on
there
stuff.
There you go. And we learned that in repo and recovery, that as soon as the car's repoed, anything in the car needs to be stuck in a lockbox and safely, because if somebody's water bill is sitting out, it's gone crazy, is what it's gone.
And it has, but we have to remember, and you were talking FTC and the fact of with an FTC, we have to follow specific regulations to go along with PCI. We're running now PCI DSS 4.0. So we have to worry about the specifics within the changes that are going on in the environment. And with FTC, it's really interesting in the fact of, I would say, when we're talking about dealerships, we're talking probably about 14% are ready for FTC. So
wow.
Most compliances are reactive, not proactive. In the fact of, you don't have to worry about it until you get breached. You don't have to worry about it until something actually happens to your environment. Well, FTC is changing that. With the FTC that's coming up, and we're changing as we go in, they're becoming proactive. They're going after these, and it's a bad way of saying it. They're not going after the dealerships per se. It's more the fact of they're making sure they're compliant. So instead of waiting for that breach to happen, waiting for something to happen so that you're in trouble, they're actually now starting to look at these environments, making sure that they are secure. Yeah. So it's no longer. Go ahead, Ron.
So we are part of Auto Association. We are a member of multiple auto associations that cater to dealers, and it is true that we're getting the same newsletter as the dealers, and so we're getting bombarded by FTC. So I can see how the dealers may be overwhelmed with the messaging of FTC and just had it.
So,
but
that's the thing. But if you're a buy here, pay here, you're now closer to needing to make sure all the custody of information is in the right place. I know we could go on, but the goal was to get a conversation going so that every single person, that means you in the live chat, thinking about what might be your legal exposure when it comes to cyber criminal activity or just safety of data, because there's just so much.
Right, and what part of the problem is the fact of let's look at the reality of life when it comes to an auto dealership. It's all about risk. What are you willing to risk in order to keep your environment safe and to make sure that you can run your company, right? Do I have everything in place so that I'm protecting all that PII or all the different things we're supposed to be protecting? And I can tell you from all the scans that we've done that most auto dealerships at this point that I've seen have not been doing a great job of making sure that everything's protected in their environments and that they're making sure that that PII, that PCI, that any information that is financial information is actually being hidden from the criminal object trying to get at it.
Yeah, that's what we've heard as well. So when you rent a car and you plug in your phone to pull up your playlist,
it pulls down everything and keeps it.
Welcome to the internet. Yeah.
Welcome to the internet.
Yeah, so I know, right? So convenience is king, right? So I want to thank everybody so much. Ron, Tim, Denise, Scott. Thank you all. I know we kept you too long, but we do that here on ATI because we're curious. We're curious people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we really appreciate you.
Thanks, Ron. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Right, hey, Ron.
Great seeing you guys.
Any one of you
Pleasure,
guys going to? Hey, Ron, are you going to be at NIADA?
I'm not sure. We may not. We may have to skip this one, but I'll let you know for sure.
Is that the one in June?
Please stay in touch.
In LA in September for the Los Angeles Business Journal Cyber Security Symposium.
Do you know when that's going to be, Denise?
End of September. We don't have an exact date yet, but please check the link in the description of this video to keep up to date for more information. It's going to be a great event and you guys will be there. And I hope that all of the people listening today will also make it so we could just continue on with this conversation because there's so much more to learn and share.
Yeah, and Ty, I'm just curious, do you have any questions? Because you're very expressive.
Tim just waking up right now. He's just waking up.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna bring you back. We're gonna bring you on a Friday.
I was thinking that too.
And we'll have a lot of fun on a Friday, Tim. We'll get Tim and Ronnie, maybe Scott if you want to come too, Scott. We'll let you in the club since you own the place.
Yeah, it's always good to bring. If you bring Scott, I can come.
Yeah, okay.
That's usually how it works.
All right, that's fair. We'll do it. No, we'll bring you back on. Now, it's first of all, here's where I always land. I say, thank you so much for your time. I'm very thankful and grateful that we got to meet Ron, and through that, now we're talking to Tim. Now we're talking to Denise and Scott. We get to meet Scott. So, what usually happens is we will bump into each other again. We'll definitely have you back on again, but we'll actually see each other again, and we'll. This is the beginning of a great relationship. How's that?
Sounds great, man.
We know security professionals now. We don't have to call the FBI.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call myself a professional so much as just someone who works in security.
Yeah, but it's good what we do is we try to align ourselves with people that really know what they're doing in different parts of what we call the ecosystem. So, I'm not a great broker guy. I'm not a great insurance guy. I'm definitely not a great cybersecurity guy, but I know a great cybersecurity guy, and his name's Ron and Tim and Scott. And yeah, let's talk to them. So this is actually a really big topic, and it really is fascinating, great, awesome that we got to meet you guys, and I really do see a long-term relationship here with you guys.
Pleasure,
so,
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll forward you some crazy emails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me something to explode, Jay.
Yeah, that's fun.
I want to come in the cat box. So, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good night to all. All right, so we'll end the meeting there, and that was really, it was fun. It's fun, interesting, and educational, of course. That's what we do here. That's what Tuesday nights are for. Now, I know it's a long show. And so if you had to jump off or you jumped in or you jumped on or you just jumped out, You can always catch the podcast, and if you watch on demand, and this is really the way to go, then what I'll do is I'll put time codes in the video description below, and you can click and skip ahead and watch sections and get information and absorb it that way. So I want to thank again everybody in the live chat, and thanks for the super chats. So nice. Ty was in there, Chris was in there, Mark was in there with their super chats, making martinis. And of course I want to thank Rapid Recon and Ship Your Car Now, NIADA, Super Dispatch, Auto Hauler Exchange, and Superflow Systems. Thank you so much for your participation and support. Be sure to join us on Thursday. I just saw again, my gosh, Zeb Frank posted again on LinkedIn. And so I'm going to get into, I'm going to have to screen capture that, put that in the show on Thursday. We have a lot to talk about, and it's ongoing, so stay with me. ATI Auto Business. Join us Thursday at noon. We're also going to be early Friday with the AI damage inspection. The Friday show is going to be at 10 a.m. Don't keep track of everything. Just go to the home page. Go to YouTube. Go to ATI Auto Business. That's right. Watch those passwords. That's what I want to ask them. Ty, make a note. When we bring them back on a Friday, what is basic password protocol? You know, do you scribble it on the TV tray, and you have to, every time you want to re-log into Hulu, you got to dig inside the couch, or do you save it online? I mean, what do you do? I don't know I don't think people know what to do anymore. I've got a method. I'm sure that's wrong too. So thank you so much for joining us again for Cybersecurity Logistics in the automotive business here on ATI Auto Business. Thank you, One Step Secure IT, Ron, Tim, Scott. Thank you, Denise, for being our special guest from LA Business Journal, and Josh and Cole for manning the stations in the live chat. Stay with us. We'll be back soon. Here comes the car hauler. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much.